All right, Coach, if you want to start us off with the opening statement about first day of fall camp, and then we'll go right to questions.
Yeah, first day, obviously really good energy from the guys. Thought they moved around and they flew around really, really well. You can tell there's a difference between now and the spring from a standpoint of guys understanding where they're supposed to go, what the responsibility is. So we're really impressed with the way they handled that. As usual, we have a lot of things that we have to continue to grow in and continue to get better at from a standpoint of scheme-wise. There are a lot of schematics right now that are a little bit cloudy, a little bit lacks communication that we really want right now. But I think overall, from a standpoint of a solid first day, but we got to continue to get better.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, you brought in a Hall of offensive linemen out of the portal in the offseason. How has that group progressed this far?
Yeah, it's been a work in progress. Whenever you get so many men in a room that they have never played together, come from all different backgrounds, offensive line is a language of its own. So them learning the language and kind of how we go about doing things has been really a challenge. But for the most part, right now, so early in camp, these guys have had a chance all through the OTA sessions that we've had in the summer to really kind of get acclimated and to kind of get some kind of continuity and kind of what we're doing. So from a standpoint of first day and, putting it all together, we go out there with a starting five. Don't know how that's going to end up when all the dust clears and when it's all said and done. But I do like the way those guys are working. Coach Clem is doing a really good job of teaching them our style, our standards, and what we want. And they're doing a really good job of kind of trying to learn some of this stuff. But from a standpoint of, are we ready to try to figure out who the top 7 or 8 offensive linemen are? Right now, we're throwing them all against the wall and kind of see who a cream rises to the top.
So kind of on the other side of that, as far as the skill positions go, you actually have quite a few veteran returners, guys who were here last year. How does that ease the installation of this new offense?
Well, Christian Moss and Gabe Binyard on the offense side of the ball have really been good for us. We've identified those guys as two guys that have been really consistent in our processes. They've been able to digest the information that we've installed, and they've been really doing some really solid things for us. We just continue to try to learn, who's going to continue to grow too from that position. At the wide receiver position, Javon Rogers had a really good summertime. I'm really impressed with what he's been doing. On the defense side of the ball, there are some young guys. Elijah Hill, he's a guy that flashed all through the summer workouts. A young guy, Travion Lawson, another one that flashed as well. Just put on about 20 pounds since he got here this upcoming May. But for the most part, it's been really good to see those guys continue to grow in progress.
Questions for Coach? Stan?
What do you like about Dexter and what he brings at quarterback, his skill set? What do you like about him?
Yeah, I think Dexter has what we call an old soul right now. He's a guy that, he's played and he's been in college before. So he's been at the Power 4 level. He's, led teams to victories at the G5 level. So he just has a lot of experience being on the field, on the grass, how to go about his business throughout the course of a week. This is probably Dexter's, 6th camp for the most part he's been through. So, he's kind of that guy that understands like what this all is supposed to look like and what our standard kind of is. Now, he still has to continue to grow in what we want him to do and what our expectation is for him. But so far, so good as far as the way he's trending.
Coach, what have you seen from Donovan Westmoreland this offseason?
Explosiveness. One thing that jumped out at me when he got cleared to kind of come back this summertime was he has a great first step. The way he plays with good pad level, he has a great first step. We call it heavy hands. He has extremely heavy hands. And we're excited to see exactly with this camp, like where his growth potential and where his ceiling is. I'm extremely excited about just seeing him when we get into the scrimmage situation and pass situation. Big men play with pads on. That's their game. And I think he's going to be a well-kept secret here.
Yeah, he's a guy who has a background playing several different positions on the defense. How are y'all looking to utilize him this season?
Yeah, don't know yet. Coach Mattioli's still installing schemes and trying to figure out what guys do well and what we can kind of continue to grow at. So, like, for him, I just know he has an array of skills, and we will be able to do a lot of different things with him.
Coach, you mentioned the coordinators, too, guys serving the role for the first time in their careers. How have they grown and progressed over the years?
Coach Mitch, obviously I've known Mitch for a while, and, just to see his growth as a coach. When you step into those coordinator roles, a lot of that is whether you're an X and O guy or good enough to understand how to attack defense or offenses. Really, it's about managing people and handling people more than anything else. And the growth that I've seen in him as far as how he directs and coordinates the staff has been really impressive. With Coach Mattioli, he's been a head coach coached before. He's called defense, he's called offense. Like, he's kind of done of all, kind of a jack of all trades. So he's a guy that, in the staff room, we lean a lot on for his expertise on how he would handle different situations. We got a couple of more. We got another head coach that's in the room, Coach Eastman as well. He's sat in that chair before. So bouncing ideas off them whenever we get stuck from a staff perspective or how we want to move forward, what's best for the team, is always good to get some advice from people who sat in that seat before.
What do you remember about your first? I'm sorry, John.
Go ahead.
What do you remember about your first day of practice when you were in college? Is any memories coming back, like nerves,
Yeah.
or excitement?
Yeah, I mean, and you saw it out there I watched our receivers throw routes on air. Heck, I don't think they caught the ball today. But, it's just all that nervous energy. Once they kind of settled down and got into the flow of practice, it was their first time really actually going out there with a helmet on. So, they've been catching balls all summer. They've had no helmets. It's been a relaxed atmosphere. There's more eyeballs on them. The guys are a little bit more tense. So one thing about that first day is a lot of nervous energy. Guys are a little bit afraid to make a mistake. Guys are a little bit tense. And so, as the practice goes, as they start to get hotter, things start to just calm down a little bit more.
As far as your first day when you were a kid, do you still remember what it was like?
I remember being nervous. I remember being, somewhat afraid to get hit. And then coach say, just play fast, just play violent. I tell my 13-year-old son the same thing. Play fast, play violent, and it has a way of working itself out.
Coach, how's the continuation of Davis Bryson making the move over to wide receiver?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a work in progress consistently. Davis has shown some really good flashes, not only in the spring, but also, too, over the summertime. So it's really just a work in progress to continue to see how he digests the system, digests all the different things that we put in front of him. The technique from a receiver position is just so different for him. The ball is coming a lot faster than he probably anticipated it coming. But I tell you what, he's been really good at just taking all the stuff. He's got that quarterback background, so he understands, like, what we're trying and how we're trying to attack different defenses on the offensive side of the ball.
Coach, one more thing for me. Is there a clear number one kicker right now, or is that more of an open competition?
It truly is. It's an open competition. That's what we love about camp. The reality is all these spots are really open, to be honest with you. If we had to go out there with a first 11, just because you're a starter the first day doesn't mean you're going to play the most snaps. So right now, we're still trying to figure out not just that position, but really a lot of different positions on the field or who can really separate themselves.
Anything else for Coach? All right, Coach, thank you very much. Get you out of the heat.
Thank you, guys.